I'm also curious because I know you, and I know when we first met, you mentioned a number of times how you grew up very insecure and always questioning yourself and that kind of thing. And I felt it was even a little bit more, I inferred this, than the normal kind of insecurity that we all have. Because the same thing, I try to explain that to people until I get tired of explaining it, that one of the biggest challenges in an artistic life that's jazz, there's most of it is rejection. Most of it, you're not paid appropriately. And it is really hard to keep that feeling of what I do is valuable and good when it's not appropriately rewarded. And money does count. We have to pay the bills. It's that kind of thing. Right. And no matter how secure you are, you're constant, so that takes a lot of energy. So I'm curious because you have such a spectacular stage presence. Beyond your singing ability, you are very relaxed, you're very funny. I know it's not effortless. I know what it takes to develop that. And I'm interested in how you develop that for a person. I've never been shy, but I've still developed what I've done on stage and gotten better and better and concentrated on it, and that works, that doesn't. But you came at this as an insecure person. How did you work around this and get to the point where you are now? I think that would have meaning for a lot of people, even just in life. You know, how they go into a business meeting or something. I'm so admiring of that.
What an amazing, insightful question that is, Judy, especially from you, who is, I think, a master entertainer and performer, which I think is a lost art form in jazz, you know, to entertain and also to perform, you know, that to keep the audience intellectually entertained with words and also music, I think is such a lost art form. And I know that you do that just impeccably. So this is a beautiful question, and I'm really honored that it comes from you. Well, it started, Dan and I have been playing music together since 2009, and our first 2 gigs we ever did together, I was so self-deprecating, and he was the only one who would be truthful with me, and he would say, Nicole, when you are self-depreciating like that, deprecating, it makes the audience.
I kind of like it though. I kind of like that phrase because we know what that means. That was a Freudian slip. Okay, continue.
I know. Good. We're gonna coin that.
I'm keeping that in.
We're keeping it. Fine.
Continue.
He said,
"Yes, exactly."
You make the audience uncomfortable when you do that. I said, I thought they would find it funny. He goes, there's a difference between making fun of yourself because you really have no confidence and making fun of yourself in like a light way. So that shifted the way I thought about humor on stage, that it wasn't necessarily about my deepest insecurities, but maybe things that everyone, like a universal thing that everyone can laugh about. You know, when I would say, I stopped singing classical music because, you know, I couldn't even drink milk, and now it's late nights and bourbon, you know, it's something like that, and an audience is like, haha, I can relate, not to the opera thing, I don't know,
right,
but
no, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a universal language when you're talking to an audience, and I just, the more shows that I would attend, the more I realized how much more I enjoyed the show if the performer looked like they had joy when they were performing. And I went to go see this like indie band, Sammy Ray, Martha's Vineyard of all places, and I texted my band, this must have been 2018, 2017, and I said, everybody in this girl's band is beaming ear to ear and smiling and laughing. With her, they're making eye contact, I said, I've never had so much fun at a show in my life. I'm like, we have to start doing this. And my guitar player, Idan, Marim, really took that to heart. And every time I look at him on stage, he just beams at me. It doesn't have this pretentious jazz, I know all the things feel with my band. It feels familial. It feels joyful. And that is what I want the audience to feel, is joyful with us.